Sometime today you are going to scrape a plate into the kitchen sink, hit the wall switch, and let the garbage disposal handle the rest. Maybe you will rinse the coffee grounds down there too, since the tip lists all swear they keep the unit fresh and sharp. Sounds helpful. At least, that is what everybody thought until plumbers like me started opening up the pipes underneath. I am going to walk you through 15 everyday items that quietly wreck that machine. The reason each one does it, and before we finish, I'll hand you a free fix that cancels the most common disposal service call in the country. My name is Mark Silverbridge. I have been a master plumber for 35 years, and disposal calls have paid for more of my work boots than any other job in the trade. So let me show you what is actually spinning under your sink, because once you see it, the whole list explains itself. Pull back the rubber splash guard and look down into a disposal, and you will not find a single blade. What you will find is a spinning metal plate with two blunt metal arms riding loose on top. Plumbers call those arms impellers, which is just the trade word for swinging lugs that throw food outward. The plate spins. The impellers sling everything against a stationary ring of rough teeth around the chamber wall, called the grind ring, and food gets shredded against that ring until the pieces are small enough to wash away. So the machine works like a cheese grater wrapped into a circle, not like a blender. That matters because it means there is nothing in there to sharpen. The old advice about grinding shells or ice or grounds to sharpen the blades is asking you to sharpen something that does not exist. It also means the disposal depends completely on water flow to carry those shredded bits through the trap, which is the U-shaped bend under your sink and on out to the main line. Anything that swells, wraps, smears, or hardens on that trip becomes a problem the disposal cannot solve, because the disposal only handles the first 2 feet of the journey. Now the money, because this is why the list matters. A tech coming out to free a jam disposal runs $100 to $150 in most of the country, and the visit takes about 10 minutes. A full replacement runs $150 to $400 installed, depending on the unit, and the clog calls that start at the disposal but end 30 feet down the line can climb past both of those numbers. Every item on this list is a 5-second decision at the sink that can turn into one of those bills. So we will start with the one you probably fed it this morning. Number 1. Coffee grounds. The grounds feel soft and tiny, which is exactly why the myth survives. And the myth says a scoop of grounds scrubs the chamber and freshens the smell. What actually happens is the grounds pass through the grind untouched, because they are already ground, and then they settle. They pack into the low spot of the trap like wet sand in the bottom of a bucket, layer on layer, until you have a dense sludge that water has to squeeze past. I once pulled the trap under a rental house sink and knocked out a plug of grounds shaped like a giant espresso puck, dense enough to hold its shape in my hand. That sink had been draining slow for a year. The freshening tip is the most repeated lie in the kitchen. If you want the smell gone, hang on, because there is a right way to do that coming near the end. Grounds go in the trash or the garden, nowhere else. Number 2. Eggshells. This one arrives with its own myth, the claim that shells sharpen the blades. You already know the problem there. No blades. What eggshells actually deliver is a double hit. The thin membrane inside the shell peels loose in the chamber and wraps around the impellers and the shaft like wet tissue paper, and it does not tear free. It just keeps winding. Meanwhile, the hard shell grinds down into a sandy grit that behaves exactly like coffee grounds, sliding into the trap and settling into sediment. So one egg gives you a wrapping problem up top and a sludge problem down below. I have cut membrane off a disposal shaft that looked like it was wearing a little sweater. Compost the shells, or trash them. Number 3. Grease, bacon fat, and cooking oil. This is the heavyweight of the whole list. Grease goes in as a warm liquid, so it feels harmless. And then it meets pipe walls sitting at basement temperature, and it does what candle wax does in a cold room. It sets. That is not great, and the worst part is the timeline. Nothing clogs on day 1. The line clogs in year 3, long after anyone remembers the bacon. Layer after layer, pore after pore, it builds a rind on the inside of the pipe until a 2-inch line is passing water through a hole the size of your finger. Plumbers call the worst version of that buildup pipe concrete, and cutting it out is miserable, expensive work. Hot water does not rescue you either. It just carries the grease a few feet further down the line before it cools and grabs the wall there instead. Pour fat into an old can, let it set up solid, and trash it. Number 4. Pasta and rice. Both of them keep drinking water long after they leave the pot. Send a cup of rice through the grind, and you now have 1,000 little sponges sitting in the trap, swelling every time the faucet runs, packing tighter with every flush. You already know how this works from the fridge, because leftover spaghetti doubles in size sitting in the bowl overnight. The same thing happens in your trap, except nobody ever drains that bowl. Pasta pulls the same move and adds surface starch on top, so the whole mass bonds into a paste plug that behaves like fresh drywall mud in the bend. The disposal handled it fine. The pipe did not. Number 5. Potato peels. Peel 5 potatoes into the sink and you have fed the machine pure starch. The grind turns the peels into a wet slurry. The slurry coats the chamber and the pipe, and as it compacts, it behaves like cement mixed thin. The Friday after Thanksgiving is the busiest day of the year in this trade, and potato peels are a big reason why. I have watched mashed potato night stop a kitchen sink cold. Peels go in the trash, or better, a compost pile. Number 6. Celery, corn husks, and asparagus. These are the string items. Every one of them is built from long, tough fibers, and long, tough fibers do not shear against a grind ring. They wrap. They wind around the spinning plate and the impellers exactly like fishing line around a boat propeller, tighter with every rotation, until the motor is fighting a nest instead of spinning free. That fight is how motors hum, overheat, and trip out. Corn husks are the worst of the 3, because the silk comes along for the ride, and silk threads are practically designed to weave a mat. If a vegetable peels into strings in your hand, the disposal gets none of it. Quick pause. I put together a book called 50 Easy Plumbing Fixes that will save you $10,000. Inside are 50 step-by-step repairs a homeowner can knock out on a Saturday with basic tools, plus the tells that separate a fair quote from a padded one, so you know when to grab a wrench and when to make the call. The link is in the description. Number 7. Onion skins. Not the onion itself, the papery outer layer. That skin is so thin and light that it slips right past the grind, whole, and then it lies flat against the pipe wall or drapes across the trap like a net. And a net is exactly how it behaves, catching every particle that comes after it until the net becomes a wall. 2 seconds of peeling over the trash can instead of the sink, and this one never happens. Number 8. Fruit pits. A peach pit, a cherry pit, an avocado pit. Squeeze one in a nutcracker sometime and see who wins. That is the hardness you are asking 2 blunt metal arms to break. What actually happens is the pit ricochets around the chamber, sounding like a rock in a clothes dryer, chips at the grind ring, and then wedges between the plate and the wall. Now you have a jam, and a jam is a dead sink until somebody frees it. Avocado pits are the ones I see most these days, since guacamole took over the world, and an avocado pit is basically a wooden golf ball. The trash can does not lose that fight. Number 9. Bones. A stray fish bone will not end the world. But chicken bones, rib bones, chop bones, those batter the impellers, gouge the chamber, and either wedge into a jam or spin in circles for 10 minutes without breaking down. Even when a small piece does grind through, Bone fragments settle in the trap like gravel in a coffee can. And remember, every jam is that $100 to $150 visit we talked about. Unless you know the trick coming up in a few minutes. Bones are trash, every time. Number 10. Produce stickers. The little price sticker riding on every apple and pear. It is plastic backed with adhesive, which means it does not grind, does not dissolve, and does not let go. Stickers glue themselves to pipe walls, plaster across drain screens, and cause real trouble at the water treatment plant if they make it that far. I have pulled drain screens that looked like a scrapbook page, a dozen little brand logos glued on in layers. Peel the sticker before the fruit goes anywhere near the sink. Small habit, real difference. Number 11. Oatmeal. Think of oatmeal as rice that already did its swelling on the stove and still is not finished. The leftover half bowl slides down as a glue slick, coats whatever it touches, and keeps absorbing water in the trap while it firms up. Cooks use oats to thicken things on purpose. Your drain line does not need thickening. Number 12. Flour and dough. Flour plus water is the oldest paste recipe on earth, the same mix people once used to hang wallpaper. Rinse a flour-dusted cutting board or push a lump of leftover dough down the drain, and you are pasting the inside of your own plumbing. Dough is the worst of the two because it stays elastic, stretching around the impellers instead of shearing, then sitting in the trap like a wad of gum. Bakers already know the rule here. Because a baker never rinses a doughy bowl straight away, they scrape it first. Do the same. Scrape boards and bowls into the trash and wipe them down before they ever hit the sink. Number 13. Banana peels. The peel is a double offender, stringy like celery and starchy like a potato at the same time. The strings wrap the plate while the starch thickens the water into slurry, so one peel checks 2 boxes on the never list. And no, it does not freshen anything either, whatever the tip lists claim. Bananas belong to the compost pile. Number 14. Shellfish shells. Shrimp shells, crab shells, lobster shells. They are thin, so they look easy. But shell is built like fingernail layered on fingernail, and it flexes instead of shattering. Pieces skate around the chamber, slip through half ground, and pile into the trap like sharp confetti. The smell of shrimp shells left in a disposal overnight will also clear a room. And I say that from experience. Wrap them, bag them, trash them. Number 15. Chemical drain cleaner poured into a disposal. This is the one that can put you in urgent care. A disposal is a sealed chamber with a rubber splash guard on top, and caustic cleaner sitting in that chamber comes back up at you the moment the plate spins as a spray. That is a chemical burn hazard for your face and your eyes, full stop. The cleaner also eats the rubber seals and gaskets inside the unit, so even if the clog clears, the disposal starts leaking from the bottom a few months later. And if the clog does not clear, the chemical just sits there in the standing water, waiting for the next person who reaches in or flips the switch. It gets worse if a second product goes in after the first, because mixing 2 different cleaners in that chamber can release gas you do not want to breathe in a closed kitchen. I do not use the stuff in customer homes, and I would not use it in mine. And if you ever did pour some in before calling a pro, say so the moment the tech arrives, because we put our hands near these machines, and that heads up protects the person helping you. If the disposal side is clogged or jammed, there is a better move, and it is the free one I promised you at the top. We are there now. Underneath every disposal, dead center on the bottom of the unit, there is a small 6-sided socket. It takes a 1/4-inch Allen wrench, the little L-shaped key that comes taped to most new units, the same size that comes in any cheap set from the hardware store. First, know the sound. A disposal that hums when you flip the switch has power and a stuck plate, and that is a jam. A disposal that does nothing at all, dead silence, usually tripped its internal overload instead, and the red reset button on the bottom fixes that one without any wrench. So the hum is your signal. When a disposal hums but will not spin, that is a jam, not a dead motor, and this socket is the cure. Kill the power first. Either unplug the unit under the sink or flip the breaker and never skip that step. Then seat the wrench in the socket and rock it back and forth until the plate breaks free and swings a full circle both ways. Fish out whatever caused the jam with tongs, never with fingers. Press the small red reset button on the bottom of the unit, restore the power, run cold water, and flip the switch. That is the entire repair. 10 minutes, 0 parts, and it is the same $100 to $150 visit you would have paid a tech like me to make. The socket is sitting under your disposal right now. Go find it once, before you ever need it. Now the framework that makes all 15 easy to remember, so you never need the list again. Before anything goes down the disposal, run it through the 4S test. Does it swell the way rice, pasta, oatmeal, and bread do? Does it string the way celery, husks, and peels do? Does it smear the way grease, starch, and dough do? Does it solidify the way bones, pits, shells, and stickers do? If it swells, strings, smears, or solidifies, it goes in the trash. Everything we covered today fails at least one of those, and nearly all of it fails too. The test also covers things I never mentioned. Watermelon rind strings and solidifies. Artichoke leaves string. Leftover gravy smears, because gravy is just grease and flour holding hands. Run the 4 questions, and you will never need to look anything up again. And because the machine is not made of glass, here is the short list of things that genuinely help it. Ice cubes, a full tray of them, ground with cold water running. The ice knocks crusted gunk off the impellers and the chamber wall safely, which is the honest version of what people think coffee grounds do. Small citrus peels, a strip or two of lemon or orange, not the whole rind. The oils in that peel are what actually freshen the smell. And the biggest one of all, always run cold water while grinding, never hot. Cold water keeps any trace of fat solid, so it moves through the line as particles instead of painting the pipe on the way by. Then let the water run a few seconds after the grinding stops, so everything finishes the trip out of the trap. Do the ice tray once a month, and the citrus whenever the sink smells tired, and that is the entire maintenance schedule. No products, no gadgets, no service plan. So tonight, when you are standing at that sink with a plate in your hand, you will see the machine differently. Not some magic hole that makes food disappear, just a spinning plate, 2 blunt arms, and a ring of teeth doing their best with whatever you hand them. Swells, strings, smears, or solidifies into the trash. Everything else cold water, and let it work. Treat it that way, and that machine will outlive its warranty by a decade. I have pulled units out from under sinks that were 18, 19 years old and still running strong, and every one of them belonged to somebody who never asked the disposal to be a trash can. The cheapest plumbing repair theirs happens to be the one you never need. One last thing. 50 easy plumbing fixes that will save you. $10,000 also shows you whether the next problem under your sink is a 5-minute fix or a real repair. So a breakdown never catches you flat-footed. Grab it through the link in the description and subscribe to the Mark Silverbridge channel for more honest, no-nonsense plumbing fixes that keep money in your pocket.